Hey friends, welcome back to Deep Dark Yoga and a little bit more dynamic practice today. Moving just a little bit more. Shouldn't be too wild because we're also going to shorten practice. I know I don't always practice for a whole hour when it's not in a group setting, so this will be somewhere more around like the 30-minute mark. So if you don't have as much time, this will get your blood pumping, this will get your joints all loosened, definitely also through the backs of the legs and the hips. We're listening to Monolord today. Just a nice instrumental album, so hope you enjoy that. Glad you're here. We're going to get right into it today. Take your index finger and your thumb together. This is to clear your slate, to relax the face. You're going to take the squishy spot at the bottom of your thumb, brush outwards on your forehead, and then outwards from the sides of your nose, down from the temples to your chin, from the sides of your nose down to your chin, then brush from the corners of your mouth up like you're trying to make your smile bigger. Don't be too cool to smile. And take your fingertips behind your ears, massage, lift, lengthen, relax. And rest your hands down where it's comfortable to you. Go ahead and close your eyes for a few moments and take a few deep breaths. And an intention for practice today. I think a lot of us, when we hear, oh, we're gonna move more and we're gonna work our hamstrings, like that's a little bit scary. So you're like, oh shit, my hamstrings are tight. But if your hamstrings weren't tight, if you just did yoga once and never had tight hamstrings again, then your practice would be pretty boring. There wouldn't be a lot of reason to keep coming back to exploring the body, to exploring your abilities and your potential, and to keep doing this thing that feels really good. That's why it's a practice. Just keep showing up. Let's see what we can open up today, if we're open to it. Take a really deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Just do that 2 more times. And then come to your hands and your knees. I've got blocks today. If you want to use them, you can find them to be really helpful. You can grab something else to put your hands on. If you want to put something under your knees here, maybe you aren't practicing from a really cushy floor like I have, I'm going to move back and forth just a couple times. Rounding. Maybe you lower your hips a little bit. If your wrists are tender, come to fingertips. And what we're going to do when we pull back, we're going to inhale. And when you exhale, you're going to come forward. You can even stick your tongue out. And come back, inhale, exhale as you come forward. And make some funny faces. You can scream into the ether or whatever you need to get out. Call this lion's breath, very stimulating. One more. Really going for any specific shape there. That was more about the breath. Let's go ahead and settle back into child's pose. Crawl your arms out real long, feeling your armpits stretching out. Rest your head down. Pull yourself back up to table pose. You're going to slide the right foot back behind you, toes tucked under, and just rock back and forth a few times. Pull the right leg in, slide the left leg back, just kind of relaxing the foot, the calf muscle, the the left knee in. I'm going to bring the right foot forward. Grab some blocks. I just come to fingertips. Scooch the left knee back. Move from a lunge on the breath in. As I exhale, pull the hips back. Make sure your hips didn't go back really far, so you might have to move your foot forward more. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, pull it back. Inhale. Exhale, not too fast. One more. And I'm going to come forward. Stay here. On your inhale, take the right arm up. On your exhale, take that hand down. And we'll open the left arm up too. And lower. And inhale. And down. And exhale. And down. And then again. Back to the center. We're going to make that leg a little straighter. Gotta wiggle the foot again. And we're going to take the right arm up. Pause. See if you can relax your right hip down a bit more. One more breath out. And then take both hips down. I'm going to bend into the front knee. This time curl the back toes under. Lift the back knee. When it feels okay, you can shift back and forth, just little shifts. You don't want your knee to drop too far forward. Gently lower the left knee down, pull the right knee back. Let's sit back again into child's pose, to rest. Pull yourself back up to your hands and knees. So you can do this with your left foot forward, just being on fingertips, the words I was looking for. Make your shape really long, because you know you're not going to want to sneak the hips back too far. Take an inhale. As you exhale, pull the legs back. And if you're like, oh man, that was way better on the blocks, just bring the blocks in. And take long enough breaths that you can be present for each shape, right? Like I want to feel it. I want to be in this half splits. I want to be in this lunge. Let's go for 2 more. When you come back to the lunge, we'll take those twists. Inhale, lift the left arm and lower. Inhale, lift the right, and lower. Take enough time with the breath so you feel the stretch, you feel the shape. One more round. And then when you come back here, we're going to make the front leg straight again. Man, I have to wiggle the foot again. Not everything always lands where you want it to. There's some extra fidgeting that we need sometimes. Open the left arm, and the left hip is going to want to lift. Go ahead and drop that down. One more exhale. Go ahead and come forward. We're going to curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, take just some little shifts. This is just to a little deeper into the hips. Gently lower your knee down, slide the left leg back. Go ahead and pull back to child's pose. Just take a big breath in and out. You can lift your head up and you might try to like slither yourself forward and find a Sphinx pose. So just stacked on elbows, pressing the elbows down, lifting the heart up. More breath in. And lower down. Slide your hands back underneath your shoulders so elbows pull back too. We'll lift up a little cobra pose. And lower and do a few more. And what you want to do, I'm not trying to get up super high. I'm trying to keep my shoulders, my neck, my chest relaxed so I can breathe and talk to you. Because if I go up here, it's about as comfortable as it looks. Take one more. And press back to your child's pose. And I'm going to lift back up to hands and knees. We're going to come with the right foot forward. I'm just going to use blocks. Curl the back toes under. My right leg is always more stiff. So I'm going to come forward on the inhale. On the exhale, I call this straight-ish, the leg. You don't have to make it totally straight. Forward, pull it back. And one more, go forward, pull it back, and then come forward to the lunge again. We're going to take the right arm up. And on this one, we're going to take 3 big circles with the right arm. So you take it down and up, and back and down, and up, and back and down and up. Stay there. And exhale. And take the hands down. You're going to walk around to the middle of your mat. You can take blocks with you, just because you might need them on the other side. And walk it all the way over your left leg. And we'll go through that again. Inhale, moving forward. Exhale, pull the hips back. Inhale to the lunge. Exhale, straight-ish the leg. One more. Go forward again into the lunge. We're going to take the left arm up. And then you're going to take 3 big circles. I want it to go down and back and up here. And again. Maybe you still feel the inhale up, the exhale down. Up. And then take the hands down, walk back to that wide-legged fold. See if this time you can curl yourself into those thighs a little bit more. You may absolutely bend your knees to make this a little gentler around your hamstrings. One more exhale. And walk yourself back to the right leg. And we'll lower the left knee down, pull the right leg back, and come off of blocks. And move forward and lower to the belly. We'll take 3 cobras. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. And at the end of that 3rd one, go ahead and push yourself back to child's pose. You shift a little bit from hip to hip. And pull yourself back up. We're going to step the left foot forward. You might grab some blocks here. We're going to go. All right, I'm going to turn around. I don't want to go and put my butt to the camera in shorts and people get weird about it. So anyway, weird is fine, just not that weird. We're going to shift back and forth a little bit. And inhale here, exhale, straightish the leg. Inhale forward, exhale, pull the hips back. One more, inhale forward, exhale, pull the hips back. Then I'm going to bend into the knee. Okay, we're going to take the back heel and turn it down to the ground. So this is going to pull me into a side angle. So it's like I've got warrior 2 legs, and I've got the block here, which makes it way easier to come up here. If you don't have a block and you've been going on fingertips and now you're like, holy shit, this is too much, just come up to your elbow, okay? Go to a space that feels like you can breathe through it, not like you're really pissed at me. So then we're going to take another 3 circles of the arm, take it up and back, take it up, try to open your heart, And then one more. And then you're gonna walk it all the way over to that wide-legged forward fold and probably bring your blocks back with you. See, you can even leave the blocks there. Maybe you walk your hands back behind your legs. Maybe there's a little bend in your knees. Trying to relax your neck. Your jaw muscles cannot save you here. Let out the exhale. Go ahead and walk yourself over to the other leg. I'm going to rock this back and forth a little bit. And then on your exhale, straight-ish the leg. It might be straight now. Mine's usually getting straight at this point of practice, but it doesn't always towards the beginning. Okay. Back to the lunge. Take the back heel, you're gonna drop it down. So you're kind of like heel in line here. And if you're like, oh man, I don't have a block, this is gonna be my wicked side, you just come up to your elbow. That's all good. I'm gonna take the left arm up and then make 3 big circles. So a little bit of movement you can feel in that hip. Not a lot. You don't want the butt to be swaying all over the place. Try to keep it pretty steady. Is that the 3rd? Or one more for good measure. And then take the hands down. I'm going to come up to the back toes, lower. Oh no, I got to go over on the other side. Woo! Because we got to do the wide-legged forward fold again. I'm going to leave you uneven with an uneven number of lunges on each side. Go ahead and walk yourself over. And then we come to the left side, right where we started. Lower the right knee, slide the foot back, come down to the belly. This time maybe with hands up off the floor. Take 3 cobras. Inhale, lift up, and lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And lower. And then press back to your child's pose. What you might do here is turn your palms to face up and wiggle your fingers around a little bit. The blood pumping around those wrists a little more. And let your hands relax. We're going to lift up. Spread your hands out. Now you can do this with your hands on blocks. It'll make your arms longer. Most things when you make your arms longer it can be quite a bit easier. With arm weight bearing things, we'll come up to downward dog. You might be without the blocks or grab them a little bit later. A moment to walk through your heels a few times and stretch the calves out. It's kind of hard to stretch calves out. You don't think you need to do it until one day they're like hella tight. Like, oh my god, oh dear, what do I do now? You do this. And then look forward, you're gonna step your right foot up, and sometimes you go to do that and it doesn't get any further than this, so just grab it. You might do some additional wiggling when we get here. I'm gonna inhale, come forward, exhale, come back. Maybe, I don't know if you can see it here, maybe you lift your front toes. Maybe you're like, no, not thanks to that part. Okay. And then we're gonna come down. Lift the right arm. Just pause here, maybe bend the elbow, let the shoulder move back. Then take your right hand down. We're gonna spin the left heel down, and this is where you might come up to your right elbow. Let this arm open, maybe bend the elbow a little bit. When I do that, the shoulder just tends to fall back a little bit more. You're going to stand yourself up. And we're going to straighten the right leg. Bring your hands to your hips. You're going to turn your hips over to the right, but keep your heart facing open to the side. I'll take, I've got a block around. You might grab it. You might bring it to a higher setting. I'll let the left arm lift. I'm taking the arm down. Make a big circle 3 times. 2 and 3. My hands come down. I'll go ahead and walk it back around to that wide-legged forward fold. This time, a little gentle bend in the knees. Now, my weight is not going forward into my knee. I want to push into my butt. My butt is very strong, has lots of muscles. Even if you don't think it does, it has a lot more muscles and a lot more strength than your knees do. So put the weight into your butt and not into your knees. And we'll take a walk over to the left side. Notice I did a lot of foot wiggling here. I didn't leave my leg crossed over there. Okay, it's got to move. I'm going to move it. And inhale. And lunge. Exhale. Maybe lifting the toes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. And bend into the front knee. We're going to stay here in this twist. I love twists for my outer thighs. If you pull that thigh back, you're going to feel more of that outer cheek getting a good stretch. We'll take the left hand down, pivot the right heel down. Try not to let your butt go far back behind you. Try to keep it in underneath you, especially now you're probably a little warmer, a little bit more room opened up in those hips. Maybe a bend into the elbow just to help the heart open. One more exhale. Go ahead and come down. We're going to stand all the way up. I'm going to straighten this leg. And you might grab blocks. You might put your hand on your shin. I'm going to turn the hips over a little bit. This is going to help my spine to stay really long. And then bringing the left hand down, the right arm opens up. I'm going to take the arm down and up, taking those 3 big circles. Yes, I know it kind of does seem like you're making a giant brush of a guitar. And that's at least what I imagine when I do that. Not that I can play the guitar, and also I'm pretty sure that you can't really play the guitar well by doing this. Anyway. Go ahead and bring both hands down. We're going to walk it back to that wide-legged fold. And I'm just using blocks here. You don't have to have the blocks. You could just have your hands on the floor, but maybe you have a little extra room when you do this. We're going to turn the toes out a tiny bit. So ideally they were facing right towards the long side of the mat when we did the other forward fold stuff. Now I'm going to turn it out a little bit. And I'm going to keep the weight in my butt as I bend my right leg and push my hips all the way back here. This could be a lot. It usually is a lot. Some folks are going to feel like, I can get my hips a little lower, and they come down here. Notice how my whole foot is on the floor. It's not easy to have the whole foot on the floor if you have really tight calves and Achilles. But don't be here, because now I'm just putting a lot of weight on my foot, and it's going to take it's going to put pressure on my knee. It's not terrible to come here, but you can't do more variations of this from here. So if I ended up here, what I need to do is wiggle around, and even if the heel's not totally on the ground, it's way closer, right? Hands at heart is real intense. I don't know why I decided I needed that. Apparently I did. We're going to lift it up. Turn the toes in. Wide-legged forward fold. Let yourself relax. Wiggle your head. Give yourself some softness. And then we're going to go to the other side. So I'm going to turn the toes out a little bit. I'm going to walk myself over here. So this is a lot. This is a side lunge. It's the same thing. The depth just comes with time, comes with a warmer body. It is very warm in my part of the planet right now. We're facing a really intense heat wave. So next practice that I'm going to post up on Patreon is going to be a super, super chill, cooling practice, very slow. I'm in early morning hours here, so it's a little bit more bearable. Whole heel on the floor. One more exhale. And back to that wide-legged fold. Turn the toes in. Give yourself a gentle bobblehead. Bring your feet quite a bit closer together. Still definitely wider than my hips. You can grab a block and sit on a block in a squat. It's probably a lot more comfortable in the hips if you want to just drop down on your own. And again, I want the whole foot on the floor. I don't want to put weight just like bearing down into my knees and my toes. There are things you can do with that. It's not the worst thing in the world to do, but once I get my whole foot on the floor, I'm so much more stable. And sometimes like sliding a blanket underneath your heels just so that there's contact of your heels onto something, that can be a great thing to do too. Let's let out another exhale. And then it's today's fancy yoga transition of just sitting down, which you might have to move the block in order to be able to do. Come on down, knees in the chest. Just a little shift from side to side. We haven't done a lot of back bending today, but we have done a lot to warm up and use the hamstrings and the hips. So I'm going to take a bridge pose. Might not be your biggest one. I'm still going to feel this lift in the hips and try to open the shoulders. So snuggle your shoulders underneath your heart. Feel the heart lift up there. And then we're going to lift the hips by pushing the feet down and then wiggle the shoulders under more. Now, if you need some support, I want you to take your hands to your underbutt. You lift up that way. It should still allow you to press your arm bones down and feel the heart lifting. If you can make a bind, ooh, I get extra space that way. Keep pushing the whole foot down, especially the big toe edge. That one's going to lift up. It's going to drop your knees open. You lose a lot of the good work here. Heart up to your nose. Ooh, one more exhale. Releasing your hips down, bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. Your arms open up, drop your knees over to the right side. Totally drop them down. It's okay if they have to wiggle a little further away from you. It's okay if you aren't quite as tightly twisted as I seem to be here. I'm mostly just resting on my altar too. Small space. One more breath out. And then knees to the other side. Sometimes there's some extra shoulder wiggling that would benefit your body in that transition. One more exhale. And come back to the center. And I'm just going to switch because I've got a wall right there. And we're going to bring the legs up, and you can hold around your shins or your thighs, your ankles, or try taking 2 peace fingers around your big toes in this happy baby. And feel your expansive pelvic region. Some big opening in the thighs as well. Roll over towards the right side a little, kind of drop into the right knee. And your leg doesn't have to get straight, but what if you started to extend that leg a little further away from you? One more breath out. And then come back to the center. Go ahead and draw that left foot in a little more. Let the left side drop down. And the right leg might extend, might open. One more exhale. Coming back to the center. Release your knees down into your chest. Let your feet come down to the floor. Your knees gently rock side to side. Just a few windshield wipers to loosen the fronts of the hips. Slide the legs out, and your arms down by your sides. If you need to rest in a different position, just go ahead and honor your body. It doesn't have to look just like this. If it does, I do like to wiggle the shoulders under the heart a little just to keep the heart a little more open. Take some long, deep breaths. Even if you don't have a lot of time for a long practice, try to give yourself at least a minute or so just to slow down, just to pause and rest. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take some deeper breaths. Roll yourself to one side. Just that moment of gratitude for taking the time for your practice today. Having the opportunity to take care of yourself like this. And come on up. Find a comfy seat. If you've got more time to rest, I mean, by all means, lay down there. That's great. Be like, we'll seal the practice, releasing one Om together. And like I said, if you want to death growl, shout, or just breathe quietly, that's all right too. Big breath in. Down to the love, to the light and the darkness that resides within each of our hearts. Thanks, friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop me a comment and like if you do. Come check us out in other places. Nobody barked today. Nobody barked.